All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol Nndm, Nano Dimensions. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back. And let's jump into this chart. So Nano Dimensions had a run. I mean, it hit these lows down here that I talked about previously that were super important. It touched it twice at 268, give or take 268, 267, but to be exact, 268. And from that point forward, there has been a slight recovery, some consolidation here, sideways movement, and today it broke through resistance and it ran up to highs of about $3.98, almost $4. I mean, that is about 2/3 of the highest point reached in this whole entire bullish run previously at $6. I mean, that is tremendous growth here. Now, we are starting to see some sell-off, fear, or uncertainty kick in, and this is starting to go on its way back down, but that's a very small percentage of this run. I mean, this ran up literally almost a whole dollar, and it's falling about 1/3 right now. We're about at 365. So we're going to have to closely watch this for the next coming days, but there's some important things here to keep in mind. So yesterday's support is one of the most important support levels right now, because if it breaks through it, this is the lowest point in the consolidation period, and if it breaks through it, it could be on its way down to these lows back down here, which means it'll pull away from the 50-day moving average in a downward direction. Now, if it doesn't get close to it, obviously this is being held up and the bulls are trying their best to stay in control and maintain leverage. They're super far away from the 50-day moving average currently, but there's something important to keep in mind. If this stock continues sideways movement, this 50-day moving average, which is currently at 316, I want you guys to keep that in mind, could catch up to the price, giving leverage to the bears. So right now, we're in bullish territory as long as we're above it. The moment we're below it, we're in bearish territory. And back to the support here. 287 is the lowest point before this run as well. So keep that support level in mind before keeping in mind the one down here at 268. But right now, 287 is one of the most important support levels in the current situation that we're in after this slight recovery, sideways movement, and now we had a run. So we're going to move our resistance levels and supports to their new locations. But before we look at that as well, I want you guys to remember those numbers, and I want to say thank you to all my viewers and investors that have been actually answering the trivia questions. I want to say thank you to you guys for taking the time to answer them and participate in them, because that's a way to help other investors be aware of important cues. And also, I'm emphasizing by asking these questions the most important cues that you guys want to pay close attention to for the coming days. I'm just doing it in your guys' best interest. I want you guys to be aware of them. I don't want you guys to just listen throughout the whole video and then take notes, but there's no emphasis or clear understanding of why those numbers are so important. So when I'm doing a trivia question, it's so that you guys can memorize numbers, not just for tomorrow, but for the next coming days and weeks, depending on where this is going. Like the previous question was, what was the lowest point in this bearish run since it hit $6? What was the lowest point? How many times did it touch it? Well, it was down here at 268. So I want you guys to still remember that number. And now that we know that number, the next one to pay close attention to based off of the behavior and what's been going on recently is up here at 287. Now, that's not the question I'm going to ask, but I'm just emphasizing why I want you guys to have these numbers in mind so that you guys can pay close attention to your cues and also where this chart may be heading and what is going on. So I'm going to have a trivia question, so stay tuned till the end. Let's go ahead and put these and their new location, and we're gonna see how this is playing out right now. This is actually slightly falling. The bears are trying to gain leverage, but we're in bullish territory, and there's a big stretch between support and the 50-day moving average. I mean, that's a very far stretch right now for the bears to even say they've gained control, but you still want to pay close attention to how everything is reacting. So again, 316 is the 50-day moving average. As long as we're above it, the bulls are in control and they want to stay above it. So for the bulls to stay above the 50-day moving average, they're going to want to pay close attention to the resistance. This resistance is 398. It is one of the most important numbers right now in the whole entire chart, other than the 50-day moving average, because that is the number that's going to keep this momentum going for the bulls to continue to work their way up to newer highs and create, obviously this is a pretty huge staircase step, but let's just say it kind of moves up slowly sideways and then it goes up. It's going to create that staircase effect to jump up to the next level and the next point. So super important to keep that in mind and pay close attention to it. So I want to emphasize to all investors, the bulls need to break through this point. That is 398. And the reason being is so that they can continue this momentum. It's the most important thing. And so the 50-day moving average does not catch up to them. So 398 needs to be broken through, turn into a support, and they can start to reach newer highs and new resistance levels. Now, on the other hand, we have our support. This support level is important because if the bears break through it, this is on its way going closer to the 50-day moving average. But between this support of 363 and obviously the 50-day moving average of 316, there's a window to pay close attention to if the bears are pulling this down fairly quickly closer to the 50-day moving average because they want to break through it and get back into bearish territory, or are the bulls reappearing and bringing this back up to start to work this way up to newer highs and new resistance levels. But keep in mind, the bulls need to break through 398 even if they bring this back up, and yes, we're still in bullish territory. This 50-day moving average will catch up to it, and they need to pull away from it so that they can pull away and reach newer highs. You can clearly see here how the bulls were actually trying to fight back to get into bullish territory, but if they did not pull away from the 50-day moving average, this 50-day moving average will slightly catch up to it, and then this would just cross and intersect in this direction. Instead, the bulls brought this shooting back up, hitting these highs of 398, and the bulls are going to try to break through that. That's their most important number right now, so they can continue the momentum they've created. And I know that there's some fear, uncertainty, or profit taking involved in this slight dip, but right now we're above support, and if support is broken through, I just want to emphasize, pay close attention to the behavior. How quickly is it going down, or how quickly is it jumping back up? And the bulls need to break through 398 to reach those new levels of highs, pull away from the 50-day moving average, and reach new resistance levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit that like button to let me know you watch this video. So, trivia question. The trivia question in this chart today, and it's very significant, is what is the most important point for the bulls right now, and why is it important? There's a reason for it being important. It's not just that the bulls need to focus on that area, but why is it important? That's the most important question. Why it's important, and what point is that? I look forward to seeing your guys' answers to the question. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.